The incident occurred on the corner of East 38th Street and Chicago Avenue. A security camera outside the Dragon Walk restaurant at the corner captured an initial police interaction with Floyd. The footage obtained by the Post begins at 7:50 p.m. The camera didn't capture the audio of the encounter. The timestamp on the video is 24 minutes ahead of current time, according to the owner of the restaurant, Rashad West. On the corner, facing Chicago Avenue, is the Cup Foods convenience store. According to Jamar B. Nelson, a spokesman for the owner of Cup Foods, two men, including Floyd, used counterfeit currency to purchase items. The employees noticed the men were still outside of the shop, inside a blue Mercedes SUV, and went to speak with them. Floyd is in the driver's seat. While they're outside of the shop, at 8:01 p.m., the police are called for a report of a forgery, according to the department. Officers from the Minneapolis Police Department arrive at Cup Foods. Two officers walk into the store, and a minute later, leave and cross the street to the blue SUV. An officer goes to the door. Behind the SUV, in a Ford Mercury, a bystander at 8:10 p.m. started filming the exchange between Floyd and the officer. The view is partially obscured, but shows the moments before Floyd is handcuffed. What appears to be a brief struggle occurs before Floyd exits the car. Floyd is handcuffed. Only part of the conversation between Floyd and the officers is captured in the footage. A minute later, an officer seats the handcuffed Floyd against a wall. And a minute after that, stands Floyd up on his feet. The Minneapolis officers then walk Floyd across the street to the sidewalk in front of Cup Foods. In the view from the camera at the restaurant, Floyd appears to be placed against the police car outside the store and falls. Officers pick him back up and put him back against the police car door. Body cam video released by the Minneapolis Park Police begins at 8:14 p.m. when a parks officer responding to a request for assistance from Minneapolis police parks his vehicle in front of Cup Foods. A police officer with a handcuffed Floyd asks him to guard the vehicle across the street. At 8:15 p.m., some interaction on the driver's side of the cruiser occurs between the police and Floyd before Floyd can be seen on the ground. The vantage point does not have a clear view of the sequence of events. However, a second later, Floyd's head appears above the police car before he moves out of the frame. At 8:17 p.m., a third squad car arrives. Two officers exit the vehicle. Bystanders identify them by their name and badge numbers as Officer Tho Tao and Derek Chauvin. Their identities were later confirmed by the police department. Thao and Chauvin walked over to the other officers already outside the store with Floyd. At 8:18 p.m., there appears to be a struggle on the passenger side of the vehicle that lasts for at least a minute. At this vantage point, we cannot see who was involved. A criminal complaint later filed against one of the officers alleges Floyd refused to enter the car, even after officers moved him from the driver's side to the passenger side. Movement stopped around 8:20 p.m. This video was filmed around the same time, near the Speedway gas station across the street from Cup Foods. The video appears to show one officer kneeling on Floyd's neck, while two other officers crouch nearby. At 8:20 p.m., bystander Darnella Frazier, who is standing near the entrance of Cup Foods, begins to film. In Frazier's video, we can see Floyd pinned face down by the knee of the officer, later confirmed by the department as Chauvin.
Please, 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 I can't breathe. Please, man.
At 8:22 p.m., 2 minutes after Frazier started filming, officers called for an ambulance. A dispatcher called for an ambulance to the location citing a code 2.
On to Minneapolis, Cup Foods, 3759 Chicago Avenue, code 2 for medical.
Control copy, code 2.
At 8:23 p.m., the urgency of the response was escalated, according to EMS recordings.
412, we're getting to code 3.
Copy, code 3.
Floyd remained pinned on the ground. At 8:25 p.m., nearly 5 minutes after Frazier started filming, onlookers confronted the officers about Floyd's condition after it appeared he was not conscious.
Right now, bro. No, bro, look at him. He's not responsive right now, bro.
Across the street, The park police officer speaks to a passenger who was in the vehicle with Floyd.
Let's stay put here, all right? Tell my partners and them done over there that they can figure things out. We'll figure things out, all right? Right now, we're grabbing an ambulance for you, buddy.
At 8:27 p.m., a Hennepin healthcare ambulance arrives. Shortly afterwards, a young relative of the store owner walks out of Cup Foods. In Frazier's video, an onlooker reacts to the young man.
In the store, bro. He's not
I
moving.
see that. I see that.
Bro,
I'm trying to help y'all out.
Bro, you don't need to help me out, bro. I know your parents. I know everybody that owns the store. You don't need to help me the out, bro. He's not moving right now. Are you serious?
The young man tries to intervene and stop the police, but is pushed by Officer Thao. Officer Shalvin lifts his knee from Floyd's neck around 8:28 p.m. after 8 minutes and 46 seconds, according to a criminal complaint filed against the officer. Floyd was placed on a stretcher around 8:29 p.m. At the same time, the fire department was called.
12, fire 3, please.
412 copy. Adding fire code 3.
Frazier's video shows the Hennepin ambulance leaving the scene at 8:30 p.m. According to a May 26 report from the fire department, 2 crew members of a fire department ambulance